scriptures in persons to the Vedic version, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination, to give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are to be offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name, and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be in
We cannot hear you, Mataji. Is everybody could not hear, right?
Yes.
Yes, we can't hear.
Vinita Mataji, you please go ahead.
Okay, it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Let us move on to our next part of the session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all joined this one?
हरे कृष्ण विनीता गंधर्विका माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Daksha Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. And to all the assembled devotees, this is Megha from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Megha Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation and beautiful chanting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Srila Prabhupada's ki jai. All glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Aditi Devi Dasi from Canada. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Aditi Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yeshumati Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nice to see you, Mataji. Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. My name is Bhuneshwari Radha Dasi. My name is Bhuneshwari Radha Dasi from Manchester. Haribo. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Bhuvaneshwari, Radha Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumar Devidas from Ghana.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Shiromani Nandarani Devidasi. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, go ahead, Mataji.
My apologies, my connection just dropped. Hare Krishna Mataji, I welcome you to the early morning Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. I apologize for my poor connection today on the internet. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you for joining the call, Mataji. Haribol. Devotees, you may keep introducing yourself. I would like to welcome
Yes,
you.
Mataji. Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, and but pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Vrinda.
Vrinda Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Many thanks for consistently joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call, Mataji. Thanks always for your glorification at the end of the class, Mataji. Please keep joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, Danvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Valli from Naperville, Chicago. Hare Krishna. Good to see you back, Mataji.
Haribol Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, Valli Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. It's wonderful to see you every day joining Mataji at the Bhagavatam class. Please keep joining. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Mata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Kamadeki Dasi from Baltimore. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kamadiki Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please keep blessing this association, Mataji, with your kind association. Welcome once again to Bhakti Sangha.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Devotees, if you would like to introduce yourself. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I offer my humblest obeisances unto your lotus feet and all the assembled devotees here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I did not catch your name. Would you like to say your name, please?
Oh, I have just joined here. I'm a new guy, and my name is Anusha. Hare Krishna, from West Bengal.
Anusha from West Bengal, Mataji.
I think Mataji got frozen again.
Hare Krishna, Anusha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to the call, Mataji. So today is your first day joining this group, Mataji.
Mataji, Anusha, Prabhu.
Arun.
Arun, okay. Arun, okay. Hare Krishna, Arun. Prabhuji, welcome to the call. Thank you so much for joining in. Please join us regularly. Please make sure that you are in our WhatsApp group. We will share your link. You can click on that and join our group.
Mataji, Ayon. A-Y-A-N.
We are not getting your name. Maybe you can type.
Ayon. Ayon.
Ayon. Okay.
Yes,
Ayon. Shah is the last name, Mataji. Right?
Okay. Thank you for joining in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.
Haribol, Haribol,
Thank you
Haribol.
so
Welcome.
much for joining us.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
This is the link for our WhatsApp group. Please click on that so that you will get everyday notification.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
We will start the recording, Mataji. It's already 6:18. Maharaj may be coming in. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 26th chapter, verse number 40. Before I hand over the call to Maharaj, I request Aditi Mataji, please take over from here and give a brief introduction.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj Ji. Candramauli Swami Maharaj Ji is a disciple of ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and initiated spiritual master within the ISKCON movement. Maharaj came in contact with the International Society of Krishna Consciousness in Denver, Colorado at the age of 24. In 1973, he began practicing Krishna consciousness in New York City, and shortly thereafter began serving at the New Vrindavan Farm community in West Virginia. The same year, he received he received initiation from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In 1986, His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj accepted the sannyasa order and began preaching in Cincinnati and Columbus, Ohio. In 1995, he began serving as the resident sannyasi in Chicago, where he was based until 2013, when he relocated to Karlovac, Croatia. At present, His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj offers spiritual guidance around Europe, USA, and India. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for that brief introduction. Thank you so much. So Maharaj still did not join. And today is the last verse for the 5th canto, right, Mataji? Shyamagauri Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, and this is the finishing of canto.
Yeah, we are finishing canto today with Maharaj. That is so
Yes,
nice.
Maharaj, yes.
Yes, Maharaj is going to finish this canto. So we have still time. If somebody wanted to introduce themselves, please go ahead and introduce.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the assembled devotees. This is Sushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Sushmita Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, my name is Praladhanandas from Las Vegas, and all glories to all our members in this group, and Jai Sri Prabhupada. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prahaladanand Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your recitation. Very nice to see you every day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam to you and everyone on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This is Manisha from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Manisha Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Dr. Brett from ISKCON of Harrisburg in Pennsylvania. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Candramauli Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your recitation. Hare Krishna. I think Maharaj is on the call. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for joining this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, 26th chapter, verse number 40. And today we are ending the 5th canto, Maharaj. We are very feeling so fortunate that you are coming for this last verse on the 5th canto. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your valuable time and association. Please take over, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.26, text number 40. Descriptions of the hellish planets. Udvipavar Sar Adranava Samudra Pataladinaraka Bhagana Loka Samsta Itamayatama Nipa Bhutam Ishvarasya Stulam Vapunsakala Jiva Nikaya Dhamma. Translation. So now Maharaj Parikshit is hearing from Sukadeva Goswami, and he says, "My dear king, I have now described for you this planet Earth, other planetary systems and their lands, marshes, rivers, and mountains. I've also described the sky, the ocean, the lower planetary systems, the directions, the hellish planetary systems, and the stars. These constitute the Virat Rupa, the gigantic material form of the Lord, on which all living entities repose. Thus, I have explained the wonderful expanse of the external body of the Lord." Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Swami purport of the 5th canto, 26th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, description of the hellish plants, completed in Honolulu Temple on Panchatattva, the Honolulu Temple of the Panchatattva, June 5th, 1995. So here is a supplementary note by Srila Prabhupada, written by His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And this is quite lengthy, but we will take it bit by bit. Its translation as follows: learned scholars who have full knowledge of all the Vedic scriptures agree that the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are innumerable. These incarnations are classified in two divisions, Prabhava and Vaibhava. According to the scriptures, Prabhava incarnations are also classified into two divisions, those of which eternal and those of which are not vividly described. This 5th canto, in chapters 3 through 6, there is a description of Rishabdev, but there's not an expanded description of his spiritual activities. Therefore, he is considered to belong to the second group of Prabhava incarnations. 1st canto, chapter 3, verse 13 says, Asmate Merudevyam tu Nabirjata Urukrama Darshayan Vartadiranam Sarvashram Namaskritam. Lord Vishnu appeared in the 8th incarnation as the son of Maharaj Nambi. You can't read it because it's covered. Go down the page. The son of Agnidra and his wife Merudev. He showed the path of perfection, the Paramahansa stage of life, which is worshipped by all the followers of the Varnashram Dharma. Rishabdev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His body is spiritual, Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Therefore, one might ask how it may be possible that he passed stool and urine. The Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya Baladev Vidyabhusana has replied to this question in the book known as Siddhanta Ratna. Imperfect men call attention to Rishabdev's passing stool and urine as the subject matter for the study of non-devotees who do not understand the spiritual position of a transcendental body. In the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the illusion and bewildered state of the materialist in this age is fully described. In 559, Rishabdev stated, Idam Sariram Mamadurivavyam. This body of mine is inconceivable to the materialist. It's confirmed by Krishna, Avajanti Mamudham Manushim Tanamasritam Parambhava Mujjanatam Mamabhuta Maheshwara. Krishna speaks, fools deride me when I descend into human form. They do not know my transcendental nature, my supreme dominion over all that be. The human form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is extremely difficult to understand In fact, for a common man, it is inconceivable. Therefore, Rishabdev has directly explained that his own body belongs to the spiritual platform. This being so, Rishabdev didn't actually pass stool and urine. Even though he superficially seemed to pass stool and urine, he was also transcendental and cannot be imitated by the common man. It is also stated in Bhagavatam that the stool and urine of Rishabdev was full of transcendental fragrance. One may imitate Rishabdev, but he cannot imitate him by passing stool that is fragrant. The activities of Rishabdev do not support the claims of certain class of men known as Arhat, who sometimes advertise that they are followers of Rishabdev. How can they be followers of Rishabdev while they are against the Vedic principles? Sukadev Goswami has related that after hearing about the characteristics of Lord Rishabdev, the king of Konka, Venka, and Kutaka, initiated a system of religious principles known as Arhat. These principles were not in accord with the Vedic principles, and therefore they are called Vishanda Dharma. The members of the Arhat community consider Rishabdev's activities material. However, Rishabh is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is on the transcendental platform and no one can compare to him. Rishabdev personally exhibited the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is stated in the Bhagavatam, Dvan Vanalas Tavan Alilahan Sahadeha Teha Dadaha. The entire forest of the Lord's body was burned to ash in the great forest fire. In the same way, Rishabdev burned people's ignorance to ashes. He exhibited the characteristics of a Paramahansa in his instructions to his sons. The principles of the Arhat community, however, do not correspond to the teachings of Rishabdev. Sri Baladev Vibhushana remarked in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is another description of Rishabdev, but that Rishabdev is different from the one described in this canto. Magyantimirandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachari Nirvishesa Sunyavari Pasyatya De Santarani Vanchakalpa Thurubhischa Kuripa Sindhu Bevacha Titanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there's always a class of persons who read scriptures and sometimes even study scripture, but they can't understand scripture because everything that they derive from scripture is based on their own limited understanding. And therefore, when they see something that appears to be material that is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they conclude that such personality has a material body. But as Krishna says, as it's been quoted here, Abhajanti Mamudha, fools deride me when I descend in my human form. They do not know my supreme dominion over all that be, my transcendental nature and supreme dominion over all that be. We also say, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samudritaha Mudoyo Avajananti Avyayam. And also in that same chapter, Krishna again illustrates I am covered by my curtain of Maya, and therefore the greater world cannot know me, who is transcendental and infallible. So when we apply material terminologies, when we see something just like Lord Nityananda, he was hit in the head with a pot and his head started to bleed. So you might consider, how is it the body of the Supreme Lord can start bleeding like an ordinary body? But these features of the transcendental body of the Lord are simply there to bewilder the non-devotees. They want to see the Lord as material, and so the Lord exhibits his activities material. They also see that Krishna, he steals butter, he's tied up by his mother and he cries. But they don't see that he lifts Govardhan Hill. So people want to recategorize or wrongly categorize the Supreme Lord by the symptoms of something material. Krishna was shot in the foot with an arrow by a hunter, and he appeared to die because of that. Krishna did that just to bewilder the non-devotees, to keep their foolish ideas that he was an ordinary person. The reason he does that is the only way you can know him is by devotional service. He says, only by undivided devotional service can I be known as I am, standing before you and thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So to bewilder the atheists, to keep their material concepts intact, he apparently acts. No one dies by getting shot in the foot with an arrow, but Krishna did that, and it appears that he
I think Maharaj is frozen. We can't hear him.
We're experiencing very bad internet today across.
Yes, even Maharaj has got disconnected.
Yes, yes. Mataji, does Maharaj know that he's disconnected?
Srimati Mataji, is she there?
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna.
We can chant until Maharaj comes.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Ram.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Haribol, Haribol. Yeah.
Welcome back,
Yes.
Maharaj.
Welcome back.
I have an unsteady internet connection here, and I just set up my backup. I hope the backup keeps it going. Let's see. It's been like this for the last few days. There's a major railway strike here in London. And people are all sitting at home working from home, which is overloading the
Again, we cannot hear Maharaj, right?
Again.
Yeah, again it gone. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Vrinda Mataji is saying there is an internet issue.
Yeah, that's what Maharaj is saying, right? There is a lot of people working from home or something. That's why there is a lot of load on the internet. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Ram,
Ram.
Hare
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hari Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hari Ram.
Hare Hare.
Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare.
Jai Prabhupada, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Das Vyasa Gaur Krishna.
Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna.
Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna.
Ram,
Hare
Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Hari
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna.
Ram. Hari Ram.
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Hari Ram.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hari Ram. Hari Ram. Hari Krishna.
Hare Ram, Ram, Hare
Hari
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Hare Hare. Hari Ram. Hari Ram.
Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram,
Hare Hare Krishna. Krishna Hare Hare. Hari Ram. Hari Ram.
Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram.
Hari Ram. Ram Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hari
Krishna
Ram.
Krishna Hare
Ram
Ram.
Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Ram.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Maharaj ki.
Haribol,
Hare
Haribol.
Krishna, Maharaj.
Haribol Maharaj, welcome back. Welcome back, Maharaj.
I'm sorry, we gotta, I think it should be okay from now on. Let's see. Where did I leave off? To explaining how the non-devotees are very superficially oriented to make their definitions of the activities of the Lord as being material when they see him exhibiting some of the characteristics of the ordinary people. But then we made the point, and it's important to understand that the Lord, he says, Sarvasya Shaham Ridisani Visto Matad Smirtir Gyanam Apohanam Cha Vedaischa Savam Aham Eva Vedyo Vedanta Krit Vedavid, which really indicates that the Lord, he fulfills the desires of everyone. If you want to remember him, he will help you. If you want to forget him, he will also help you and give you reasons to forget him. And if you want knowledge of him, he will also provide that. So the non-devotees, they want to find fault because they have no faith. The reason they have their faith is they don't know the process for understanding the Lord, and so forth. Because they don't take up the process, which is bhakti, due to their limited knowledge of ajanti mamudha, Krishna calls them fools because they see things in a limited or you might say a material way. So here is a nice, elaborate, very concise, elaborate, but a very complete description of Rishabdev. So was that like the ordinary person passing stool and urine? But all the acharyas, not only Bhakti Siddhanta and Bhakti Vedanta, and all the previous acharyas who speak on this particular pastime say, then but his stool was fragrant, and it was giving fragrance into the entire countryside. So no one can do that. It's not possible. But because that a spiritual body can do it, not a material body. So his body was purely spiritual, but he's acting in a certain way to bewilder the atheists and non-devotees. So this group that sprung up from him is called Arhat. They're actually atheists. Prabhupada in the commentary in one of the verses that this idea of following Arhat is a concocted thing. It's not a bona fide religion. It's followed those who have no understanding. What a devotee knows through the process of devotional service, that the Lord can do anything, either apparently material, and at the same time be transcendental to the activities. Krishna never touches the material world, although he appears to. It's like you can't mix oil and water together. If you try to mix them, because of their different constitutions, they automatically will separate. Similarly, when the Lord comes to the material world, Prabhupada gives the example, a governor may go into a prison house and he may be walking around amongst the inmates, but he is not one of the inmates, although he's inside the prison house. He can come and go freely. So some of the inmates might mistakenly think, well, the governor is also one of us. Using that example, it's the Supreme Lord comes to the material world, but he doesn't touch the material world. His body is not material. It's always in the transcendental position. Although from the limited point of view, it exhibits some of the characteristics of a material body. But that is just for the non-devotees to allow them to keep their atheistic activities, because Krishna is not trying to convince anybody that he's God. The process of convincing people that he's God is bhakti. So one has to take up the process, and not by gyan, not by yoga, not by karma, not by a combination of all of these can one understand the nature of the Supreme Lord. So bhakti is the path of enlightenment, the path of pure transcendental knowledge, which reveals the nature of the Supreme Lord according to the level of one's development in bhakti. So, and Krishna says, you can understand me, at least to a certain degree. No one can fully understand the Supreme Lord. If you could fully understand the Supreme Lord, you would be as good as the Supreme Lord. Well, one can get enough understanding of the Lord to understand that the Lord is completely transcendental to everything material, and at the same time, he's controlling that material and directing the wanderings of all living beings. That is Krishna. And he comes in any of his incarnations, they also exhibit these same characteristics, but in different ways according to time, place, and candidate. So we see from this description or this commentary by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati that there's always a class of people who want to pull down or relegate the Supreme Lord to an ordinary person. And one of the reasons why they do that, it may not be so overt, but it is there, is that they don't have to worship the Lord then. They don't have to surrender to the Lord. Because when the Lord comes, he teaches eternal religious principles. And in order to benefit from that, one has to follow these principles and also follow the direction of the scriptures, which guides one towards a realization of the Lord in his different incarnations. No one can make up or create a process of religion, nor a process of understanding the Supreme Lord. Everything is there in the scriptures, and everything is given to us by the pure devotee, spiritual master, who is in touch with the Lord through the process of devotional service. So, as Sukadev Goswami concludes his particular chapter, he says that I have told you everything about the material energy in its different components, compartments. And for clarification, now we hear, for those who may have a doubt about Rishabdev, I mean, some of the other activities he performed, he put stones in his mouth and acted like a deaf and dumb man. He was bedraggled. His hair was in all directions. And he appeared to be a madman, but he wasn't. He is the Supreme Lord, and he's acting in a certain way in order to teach certain religious principles according to time, place, and candidate. Okay, so we'll stop there and open it up for questions.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for your wonderful association. I apologize since to all the devotees for a very poor internet connection today. Maharaj, not only you, my internet was stalling too. And thank you for explaining so nicely that in order to understand God, one needs to be godly. That's very nice and wonderful to mention, Maharaj, that how all the religious things are produced by the Lord, depending on you actually answered one of my questions, which I had in my mind. So thank you for that why we have so many different religions created by God. So probably just depending on the time, place, and situation, and by the type of people. So God comes up with so many religions. Thank you, Maharaj. We have already, you were saying something, Maharaj?
I was agreeing.
Wonderful. We will open the session to question answers. If you could kindly unmute your videos, and Shukhara Prabhuji, would you like to go ahead with your question?
Yes, madam. Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Maharaj, your class was so fantastic. So my question is, you are told that to understand the Supreme Lord, we must become godly. So godly means a person who is beyond the three modes, who is liberated. He is only godly. We are all, actually, at least me, I am still a dog. I am a servant of God. I'm just serving, trying the best. So godly means you have to come to the transcendental level, Guru Maharaj?
Well, to come to the transcendental level means to engage in devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. By doing that, one gradually raises their consciousness through the different modes, comes to the mode of goodness, and eventually transcends the mode of goodness as one is situated on the spiritual platform. So it's a process. So being godly, I don't know if that word actually applies to this particular situation. It means being engaged in devotional service.
Maharaj,
Our
yesterday I was
godly
reading this.
quality.
Yesterday I was reading Maharaj, the
Yeah,
third
God-
canto. Maharaj, yesterday I was reading
Yeah.
the third canto. In that, Srila Prabhupada has written in the purport where Kardama Muni, he did 10,000 years of penance, and he could see Krishna face to face. The Supreme Lord came. Then he married Devahuti. At the time, he created a castle in the air. And at that time, Srila Prabhupada wrote that since he is a godly person, that's why he could do all these things. So I thought godly means you should, you should see God, or you should be a very, very liberated person. Then only you can understand God. But I can understand from your explanation that in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Manishyanam Sahasreshu, 7th chapter, Kaschit, that is Siddhiye, Yatatam api Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Veti Tattva. That out of so many perfected, one tried to become perfect, and out of so many perfected ones, hardly one knows me in truth. So what you say is correct. To know God means you should be as good as God. In the sense, you should be a totally out of the three modes of material nature. Then only you are godly. Am I right, Maharaj?
That's right, but if we accept the words of the bona fide spiritual master, the pure devotees coming into succession,
Okay,
we can
Maharaj.
accept what they say as being absolutely true, even though we might not have the realization of it.
Okay, Maharaj. At least we'll have the faith to accept whatever scripture says. It is sure because we believe in the parampara, we believe in Krishna, we believe. So we are accepting Krishna and we are serving the way they have told.
Right, exactly.
Maharaj, how to get the pure devotional service? How to get that level? We are all doing Mangalarti, chanting for 25 years, 30 years, 35 years. So pure devotional service is at a very, very high level, where you are totally transcendental. You are not getting any Maya attack. You are seeing Krishna at everywhere you can see Krishna, nothing else. Samabhav, that is the way that one has to get the pure devotional service.
Yeah, we should aspire for that, but even higher than that is just aspire to surrender in devotional service. By your surrender and your enthusiastic to engage in the practical devotional service under the guidance of your spiritual master, gradually all of these things will be revealed. As like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati used to say, don't be so eager to see Krishna, but be eager to act in such a way that Krishna wants to see you.
Jai Maharaj. Maharaj, so wonderful. Last question, Maharaj. Now you are also liberated persons. You are already Prabhupada's disciple and you have been serving so much. Please, can you give a small clue that how to chant better and the best? Just give something on the chanting, Maharaj. How? Because every day we are chanting, we are trying to listen to the chanting, but give something so that we can improve than what we have done yesterday. Maharaj, please give your realization, Maharaj, please.
I'll give you something that has helped me. That way, maybe that'll be as practically. And that is, I chant 16 rounds before I do anything.
Jai, okay.
In other words, don't even begin your day until you finish 16 rounds.
Okay.
If you do that continuously for a while, you'll see the qualitative change in everything that you do. You'll be able to have all of the intelligence and the clarity you need to go through the day and without getting affected by the material energy. And at the same time, you'll also be able to improve the quality of your chanting.
Thank you, Maharaj. And how to get the absorbed chanting? How to get absorbed? We are doing group chanting, around 80 people in the morning from 4 o'clock to 6:30. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But you, as a great devotee of Krishna, who are his pure devotee, please give something more, Maharaj. Sorry, we are disturbing you so much. Please, we want to just get some blessing, Maharaj, nothing else.
When you become completely dependent, Lord, because the chanting means, my dear Lord, I've fallen into this ocean of material suffering, and I can't get out only by your mercy. So by the mercy of your holy name, please fix me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. So the chanting means to fix our consciousness at Krishna's lotus feet. So we also can offer prayers either before or during the time we are chanting in order to offer something to the Lord, explaining that, yes, I'm chanting, but I'm also praying for you to pick me up.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Seek your blessings. Seek your blessings. My name is Sukakar Krishnadas. I'm a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataksha Maharaj, and I'm in Chennai, in India. I'm 63-year-old. Initiated in 1993. I was ISKCON leader. Not leader. ISKCON Yatra servant for Sharjah and Dubai, Sharjah and Ajman. So around 2000 initiations took place in the last 20 years. Now I am in Chennai, 63-year-old. But I want to go back home in this life. I seek your blessings completely, Maharaj. Please.
Good. Well, you have a very good shelter with Jayapataka Maharaj, so you're probably guaranteed to go back.
No, you are also my uncle. You are Jayapataka Maharaj's brother, means you are my uncle, Chacha. So I need Chacha's blessing also, Maharaj, please.
Well, my blessings is that the holy name.
Dasoham tavasmi. Dasoham tavasmi.
The blessing is Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam kalon nasteva 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 datir anyata. No other way.
From you also, Candramauli Maharaj, from you also I need, yes, you just keep me in your mind for at least, yes, a prayer. I'm begging at your feet, at your lotus feet.
And of course, chanting means Vaishnav Seva. Take every opportunity to serve the Vaishnavas, and that will give you recognition by the Supreme Lord.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much for your blessings and mercy. Kripa Siddhi. Today I got the Kripa for Candramauli Swami Maharaj. His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai ho. Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. This is Dasanudas Sukakar Krishnadas. Dasanudas Sukakara Krishnadas.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. We'll proceed.
Prahaladananda Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Dhanvat Maharaj Prabhu. My name is Prahaladananda and I'm in Las Vegas. And I don't have any question. I'm just giving little realization I got through your association today. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam to start with when I was very young, I didn't believe so many things. Then I came across Prabhupada's statement that human intelligence has a ceiling, right? Just like a dog has a ceiling in intelligence, cannot understand that there is a government in Washington, D.C. So that's where I realized that, oh, my intelligence is so insignificant. I cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Then I understood, as I studied Bhagavad Gita, I said, Bhaktya mama vidyanati yavan yasyasmi tattvata. So if I want to know Lord Krishna, I have to do bhakti. And I started following, Prabhupada Maharaj's teachings, got into initiated and all that. Then I started understanding little more. Then number one says, What kind of bhakti? Mamcha avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevte sagunan samati tetan brahma bhuyai. That stage is very difficult for me to reach there. But just by little association like today I have with you, my intelligence, my understanding goes so high. I can start feeling that transcendental pleasure, which is actually a sign of Satchidananda. The pleasure which I feel out of association, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and chanting is all spiritual bliss which I am feeling. But that does not continue because of having my karma and the material environment like that. But this is what is my realization, that as long as I'm in touch with Srila Prabhupada's words and in live association like your good self and the other devotees, always feel the spiritual bliss, very little kanika like that. So this is what is my realization today, Maharaj. And I'm so grateful that I'm in this group where we get exalted Vaishnavas like you from all over the world. And that's a great treasure, I believe. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak, Maharaj. And Dalvat Pranam. Haribol.
Thank you. Your words are like gems describing the whole process of bhakti in a very succinct way. Yes, when we realize we're insignificant, yet there's an ocean of mercy that is coming towards us. We just have to go for it in the form of Prabhupada's teachings and Prabhupada's instructions, both. Everything is there. Prabhupada alone can take us back home, back to Godhead, simply by, if we have complete faith and do our best to serve Srila Prabhupada by serving his devotees.
Thank you, Maharaj. Haribol.
Haribol.
I have a devotee who has his name as the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Would you like to go ahead and unmute yourself and pose your question to Maharaj? I cannot call your name because I don't see your name.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I am Oyam Shah from West Bengal. I offer my humblest obeisances unto Lotus feet. I don't have a question from this text, but I have the question that in the first canto, first chapter, first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that one should read Srimad Bhagavatam and go through Srimad Bhagavatam step by step, verses after verses. So I'm in class 9 and I have started reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm in first chapter, first canto, first verse, and now I have joined this session. So can I just continue this session? Which is
Bhagavatam is like a sweet ball. Anytime, any side you bite it, it's sweet. It's a kalpavriksha tree. It can fulfill all spiritual desires. So there's no restriction. You can hear any of the verses at any time, but continue with your progressive study of Bhagavatam. That will also give you an understanding of how Bhagavatam unfolds from one stage to another. But you can also come and continue on this program because even though it's 5 cantos later, still there's much to be learned.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Please bless me, Maharaj, that I can just read Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
We have a beautiful sharing from Megha Mataji, and she's writing such beautiful realization and questions. Really blissful to have association of such exalted devotees and exalted speakers. Thank you, Bhakti Sangha, for creating this wonderful forum, which we can, where we can have such exchanges between devotees. Ever grateful to everyone. Hari Bol.
This knowledge is descending from the spiritual world into the hearts of the pure devotees. So it has nothing to do with this world itself. And it's meant to elevate the consciousness of the conditioned souls to the stage of devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is full of variety and it is full of ras. Ras means that's the sweetness that connects us with Krishna in different ways. We should read, study, understand, and learn how to apply this knowledge in our day-to-day life. And that is, that will take our consciousness to Krishna. So it's a process. Reading and hearing is both the same. We're hearing. That is also comparable to reading. It's just a different form of hearing. And then try to understand. And through the understanding, we can get some realization once we get some understanding, and then when we can apply it to our day-to-day life. And then this knowledge is no longer just something that is there, it becomes part of you. It's no longer just a philosophical treatise on transcendental knowledge, it actually becomes your characteristics. You develop the characteristics, the qualities of the knowledge that you are learning through the application of this knowledge. So application requires guidance, but at least we can hear and try to understand, and understand comes by asking questions that are helps us to clarify what we are hearing, and also it can also give us some understanding of how to apply that in our day-to-day life.
Wonderful explanation, Maharaj, as always. Thank you so much. Devotees, any further question for Maharaj? You may go ahead now.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Aditi Devi Dasi from Canada. In regards to the questions about the godliness you mentioned, I'm just wondering, is if Kanishta Adhikari is associated all the time with Uttam Adhikari, do you think then we can reach that stage of godliness?
Well, there's an old saying, tell me who you associate with and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah. Sadhu Sangha.
Yeah. So association is powerful. It works both ways, both on the positive and the negative. So if we accept transcendental association, we will also develop some of the characteristics in due course of time. But the advantage of that association is to hear from such persons, and at the same time look for opportunities to offer service. And that way we are associating. It's more than just being in the same physical area. It means actually hearing and looking for opportunities for seva. Yeah, and then a Kanishta Adhikari, or you might say a neophyte devotee, will start shedding some of its neophyte qualities and develop the characteristics of a second-class devotee, which will situate one nicely in devotional service.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Please accept my humble.
Hare Krishna. Association is everything.
Yes, indeed, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Will you be coming to the Toronto Rath Yatra?
Maharaj, I'm in Canada. No, I'm waiting to go to Vancouver because our Guru Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, is supposed to be coming to North America and USA. So hopefully I will visit my Guru
Oh,
Maharaj
okay.
in Vancouver.
I was just mentioning the Toronto Rath Yatra, which is coming up in mid-July.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
If you come, I'll see you there.
I hope to, that will be my, luckiest day, the day I meet you, Maharaj. We are all trying, but because of the COVID restrictions, COVID is again, there's another wave of COVID. So yeah, we are a little bit, reluctant. So, but we hope to be there, hopefully. Thank you, Maharaj, for your association. Wonderful class as usual.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, every time you're here with your association, with your presence, everybody becomes sublime. And they're just happy with your presence. Devotees, go ahead and ask questions if you have any.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances on Guru Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for your wonderful class, Maharaj. The question is, we start our spiritual lives by knowing that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And Srila Prabhupada has, throughout his lectures, again and again, said this point. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes, begin again.
So we begin our spiritual lives by knowing that we are not this body, we are spirit souls. And Srila Prabhupada in his lectures over and over again repeats the same point. And so my question is, even after so many years, it is hard to realize this, that knowing is one thing, but realizing when the situations come, what do we do to realize that, and when that would happen, Maharaj?
Well, we should stop trying to fulfill material desires and just fulfill our spiritual desires. When we fulfill material desires, we're reinforcing the bodily conception of life. When we act on the spiritual platform, we're decreasing the bodily conception of life. So yeah, we have to stay fixed in the consciousness of Krishna. Krishna consciousness means consciousness of Krishna. It's not only about doing activities, it's about remembering Krishna, thinking of Krishna, offering prayers to Krishna, worshiping Krishna, hearing about Krishna. All of these raises our consciousness. And although we have a material body, we will not be so much inclined to simply cater to the needs of the material body. You see, the Goswami says they were making advancement, they decrease. And this is a general, you decrease your eating, you decrease your sleeping, you decrease the activities that are contrary to devotional service. You find more time for Krishna. You become very, what we say, you're not so much interested in your material obligations, although you do it as a duty and not simply as a source of happiness. If you stay on the spiritual platform, that means staying engaged in devotional service, you gradually, decrease the idea that I am this body. You become more aware, yeah, I'm spirit soul. What happened to this body doesn't happen to me. The body can be used in devotional service, but you're the one that's actually connecting with Krishna, not the body. The body is simply the instrument to act in this material world. That's all it is. As long as the soul is in the material world, it has to have some body to exist in. But if we keep engaged in devotional service, although we still have a material body, where we are more connected with, we're connected with Krishna directly through the activities of devotional service. We can remember Krishna. When we see the material energy, we don't get attracted to it. And maybe we don't even get averse to it. We simply see it for what it is. It's just there, that's all. It's like a painting on the wall. Sometimes you don't even notice it. You just pass it by. The material energy is like that. It's here, but you don't give it any attention. The only thing you give attention to is what you should be doing in devotional service. That's all. And as I mentioned, give attention to Krishna. When you actually understand devotional service, it means remembering Krishna 24 hours a day. So practice that. If you're remembering Krishna and you walk into a door and you bang your head, you won't feel it. But if you're not remembering Krishna and you walk into a door and you bang your head, you'll feel it. It's done like that. Have you ever had that experience when you remember Krishna? Even though something is going on a material level, you don't feel it, it doesn't affect you?
My little experience is if some problem is bothering me before chanting, and after finishing the 16 rounds, it doesn't bother that much because there is some.
Yeah, chanting solves the problem. You can solve the problem by trying to solve the problem, or you can solve the problem by going above the problem. Chanting means to go above the problem. On the spiritual platform, there's no problem.
But I don't have experience of, banging against the thing and not remembering Krishna. So definitely I have to improve on remembering the Lord.
I'm just giving you ideas. You may not be on a complete transcendental platform, but you can work towards that. And you get indications as time goes on.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Something to really contemplate more and more on. Thank you so much. We are waiting to see you here, Toronto Rath Yatra, Maharaj.
Well, pray that I can make it. Nowadays, travel has become one of the most difficult things, but if Krishna wants me to get there, I'll get there. So, but if the devotees want me to get there, that's even better because Krishna listens to his devotees.
In this context, Raj Prabhu is sharing something with all of us. He's saying that, yes, right now, His Holiness Bhaktimarg Swami Maharaj is in Vancouver, and then His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is coming in July, and then in June 25th, His Grace Gauranga Prabhu is coming too. So much amazing association. Yes, in North America, and he offers his glories. He glorifies Prabhupada, of course.
Yeah, take advantage of the association. I'll tell you a secret.
Yes, Maharaj, we love secrets.
The business of the spiritual leaders is to engage you so much in devotional service, you forget about all your material activities. And then you made it. We can't tell you to stop it because you won't do it. So we just keep giving you more and more things to do. So you don't have any time for the other things.
But it works, Maharaj. At the end, we always have to constantly keep tricking our mind. That's where it comes.
Right. The mind always wants to
how to
take
trick
the
it. Yes.
It always wants to take the easy way out.
Absolutely. And then the same thing wouldn't work the next time because it knows already. So it's amazing, this mind thing. So difficult.
There's a story. Prabhupada was in India, I think it was Delhi. He was giving a lecture. There were many important people there from the government. And when the Prabhupada's lecture was completed, one of the men came forward and fell at the feet of Prabhupada, flat, complete dandavats. And he was very humble. And the devotees who were with Prabhupada, us Americans, were quite shocked to see how Prabhupada was able to inspire such humility and devotion in such an important person. So later on, they asked Prabhupada, what is it about you that causes people like that to have so much devotion? And Prabhupada said, I have no lust. He said, I have no lust. And then immediately he turned around, got in his car along with a few devotees, and they were going back to the hotel where Prabhupada was staying. And then the car ride was quite quiet. And then Prabhupada could sense that they were thinking about what he said. And then when Prabhupada got to the place, he got out of the car, looked at the devotees, said, it's not because I have no lust, it's because I have no time. Don't give Maya any time. That's it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes.
Someone is trying to break down my door, so I better go in, go and let them in. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome back, Maharaj. I'm just quickly scanning through any other realizations from anybody that you would like to share, any quick questions, remarks, concerns that you might have. This is the time. Feel free to go ahead. So Maharaj, one question, as we constantly keep thinking that all we need to offer to Krishna is the mind, basically that's it. If the mind is engaged, then everything else is engaged. And that's the basic thing. And we keep getting We keep failing how to trick the mind, how to trick the mind. Now, when we shed this gross body, the mind is in the subtle body, right? The mind comes out. When do we lose the mind? On our
When you
way
become
journey.
Yeah, when you become liberated.
Okay, you mean
When you become
when
liberated, when you reach the liberated platform, and then the subtle body is dissolved automatically, and the soul returns to the spiritual world. As long as you're not still under the influence of material desires, you have to continue to take birth life after life. And the mind, the intelligence, and the ego, the subtle body, carries the soul from one body to another. Only when you reach the platform of liberation, then no longer do you receive a material body, and the subtle body is dissolved, and then you go back home, or you go back to the spiritual world.
So in the spiritual world, there is no spiritual mind. There is just consciousness.
No, there is a spiritual mind.
And a spiritual body, of course, right?
Yeah, there's a spiritual body, a
mind.
spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence. Everything you have on this level is there, but this level is like a dummy. You go into you pass a shop, and a clothing store, and you see the different mannequins are dressed in the different clothes that display what they're selling. So you see a body there, looks like a very beautiful girl or a very attractive man, but it's fake. It looks like the real thing, but it's fake. From a distance, people might even mistake it for the real thing. So in the same way, this material body we have is fake. It's just made out of material elements, which are always changing and ultimately will be dissolved in due course of time. But inside of this material body, there is the spiritual body, which also has form. It has spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence. Everything is there. And this body is a covering with a real body, like a glove is covering the hand. The glove may have the same shape as the hand, but the glove can't act like a hand.
That's so true, Maharaj, when you are saying that. I'm seeing myself on the screen here, and now I realize that this is a fake person there.
Yeah.
This is really realization. It's good,
As we
exalted.
get, if you try to tell that to young people, they may agree with you, but they can't understand. When you get old and you've been in Krishna consciousness, then you understand, this body is what it is. It's just miserable. It says, for the non-devotee, his mind is a burden. For a devotee, his body is a burden.
Also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that a clever hunter, when he captures the animals, he doesn't become careless to release them again. Similarly, we should capture our mind. Be careful not it goes back to Maya's realm. Just keep in touch with Lord Krishna's internal energy by chanting and reading.
Try to remember Krishna.
Right.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Vinita Matya.
I have one chat question here. One Mataji has personal message to me in chat. Maharajji, in practical life, sometimes material duties that cannot be avoided, like family responsibilities, takes a lot of our time. And how do we draw a line?
Everybody has their ideas where to draw the line. Well, when Krishna says, that's it, it's all over, the line's drawn. So prepare yourself now by using as much time as you can for Krishna consciousness. Someone asked me to give a class, how to balance material and spiritual. I told them you can't balance it. It's not possible. Whatever you feed will expand. If you feed your material, it'll expand. If you feed your spiritual, it will expand. Where do you want to put your focus on? So we say do the minimum when it comes to the material. But that's hard. Why is it hard? Because the more you try to perfect your material life, the more it expands and more responsibilities come up, more duties come up. So keep it simple. That's all. Just try to expand your spiritual life, and Krishna will take care of your material life. Don't worry about it.
May I say something, Maharaj? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Rushabdev Maharaj is telling his sons, Yeva mai se kruta sohrudartha, janesu dehambhar vartikesu, gruhesu jayasi jarasi matsu na priti yukta yavad arthas chaloke. In this slok, he says that those who have developed love for me, Yeva mai se kruta sohrudartha. Those who have developed sohrud for me, how do they behave with the people who are janesu dehambar vartikesu, who are interested in materialistic? And how does he behave with wife and children at home? Then he says, na priti yukta. They behave, but they are not attached. And they are doing this as much as required, as much salt in the food as much required, not more, not less. This is the slok which I follow in my daily life.
Yeah.
which says that I am involved materially. Yeah, as much as required, not much. But my main business is to attach with Lord Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam chanting.
Yeah, that's the idea. The main business is Krishna, not the main business is try to divide your material into spiritual and give equal portion to both. That's not the main business is Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, when I have to help my wife in kitchen and do so many things, I put lectures on my cell phone and hear, and at the same time do the work. So the ear is engaged in hearing katha, the hands are doing some work in the kitchen and like that. So this is how practically it helps me. Instead of thinking so many other things, I'm thinking and hearing Krishna katha. So that's how you can minimize your material involvement along with doing material work or activities like that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. A devotee is a kinchana gochara.
Kinchana gochara.
He's finished with material life, but still he may do his responsibilities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the formula. A woman has a husband, but she also has a lover. She's more interested in her lover than her husband. But in order for her husband not to suspect, she does her duty to her husband very nicely, but in her heart, she's always thinking about and wanting to be with her lover. Keep Krishna in your heart and your mind. Keep him in your mind, he will actually start to gradually manifest more and more in your heart. Because Krishna is all attractive. Material life is not attractive. It's not attractive at all. It's simply a big burden. That's all.
Maharaj, to that I would like to add, I think maybe we should prioritize and put Krishna consciousness on the first level. So we start at 4 o'clock in the morning so that, we can do the other duties in Grahastha as well, right? So prioritizing your day by putting Krishna consciousness on the top level, and we start our day from there, and then everything goes smoothly. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we were recommended to our friend in Chennai. Chant your rounds, worship, read the Bhagavatam. After you've done all this, then you can think about something else.
Yeah.
Maharaj, at 4 o'clock, we start the chanting group. 4 to 6:30, we chant. 6:30 to 7:30, Namamrita, there's a class, we do that. Then 7:30 to 9, Srimad Bhagavatam, I take classes. Then from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, there's one Zoom class in Kerala, Malayalam, I take class. And then from 12 to 1, in Delhi, Noida, Hindi, I take Bhagavad Gita class. Evening 3 to 4 in Bangladesh, I take one class in Bengali. And evening 7 to 8 in Dubai in English, and 9 to 10 in Doha in Tamil. So almost 7-8 classes every day. So like the whole day I'm spending.
7-8 classes, wow, that's amazing.
But still, I feel I'm still not okay. I still want to make it more. I'm greedy. Laulyam. I want your blessing, Maharaj.
Well, that's good. Laulyam is the source of success. Yeah.
One devotee in Chennai is chanting 207 rounds every day. I went to see what is 207 rounds. I went and slept with him. I could do only 108 rounds. He's getting up at 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock in 6 hours, 64 rounds. Then 1 hour he's doing all puja and all. Then 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, 64 rounds. Then 1 hour he takes his lunch and all. 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock he chants another 64 rounds. By 9 o'clock he finished 192 rounds like Haridas Thakur. Then 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock he's chanting another 16 rounds. So 207 rounds. He's giving everything for Guru Maharaj's health. So I could not be without sleep. I could only 108 rounds. So he's doing this for last 7 years, Maharaj. He's 85-year-old. And he's telling no hungriness at all. He's getting all happiness. He is getting nectar, taste of honey in the mouth, and no sleep. 11 o'clock he'll sleep in the night, and he'll wait for 1 o'clock to happen to get up and again chant. So I could not copy him. I just went, I could do only 108 rounds. So maybe there are blessed souls who can do 207 rounds. Sundareshwara Krishnadas.
207 rounds every day?
Every day, Maharaj. Every day. I can send you when he's doing, every hour he sends, because I only introduced him to Krishna consciousness. So, but he's like my guru now.
That's more than Srila Haridas Thakur.
Yeah, he's really, by God's blessing, he's getting the taste and taste and taste and taste. His daughter, one man married in Australia, and wife was doing only 16 rounds. He's doing 207 rounds. Nothing, other than chanting, nothing he knows.
Yeah. Harinam. Enechi asari maya nasi bara lagi. Harinama maha mantra lao tumi magi. Yana. Bhaktivinoda Thakur encourages. Just chant the holy names. This is your life. This is what you're looking for. This is the treasure of your life. The jewel of the twice born Lord Chaitanya. He's coming out. Tattari, tattari, bhaji loro, gana gana, majar avilo, prema daya dala antana. He's singing, bringing his devotees out in the street. He comes out just as the sun rises. Wake up, sleeping souls, wake up. You're sleeping in the lap of Maya. You're simply interested in sleep and decorating your dead bodies.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mahamad looking for. Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra, Maya Jayo Maya, Pisa Chita Kole. Just follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and you'll be back home, back to Godhead.
Jai.
He's taking everyone back easily. You don't have to perform great austerities, penances, and great vratas or pujas, homas, or whatever else. All you have to do is chant, dance, and associate with Vaishnavas.
Jai. जीव जागो गोरा चंद्र बोले को तो निद्रा जाओ माया पिशाचिरा को ले जीव जागो. Yes, Maharaj, it's so wonderful songs.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you very
sang that so beautifully.
All your blessings,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
I'm your servant, eternal servant, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All those to Shri. Thank you so much for this beautiful class. Today we finish 5th canto, Maharaj. So need to celebrate with you.
The 6th canto begins after the first chapter. The 6th canto begins with the story of Ajamil, which is all about the glories of the holy name, and then the teachings of Yamaraj, who teaches all of us about the glories of the holy name, verse after verse. Such a powerful canto, 6th canto. I love the 6th canto, especially the first 3 chapters. Such a deep. So you'll get the nectar of the understanding of the beauty of chanting the holy name, the power of chanting the holy name, the exclusive position of the holy name. Yay. Well, soon I have to depart because I have a material duty I have to get with.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you so much for your wonderful association.
Thank you. My obeisances, everyone. Look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks.
Yes. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Candramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maharaj. Such a wonderful class.
Hey, Hari, 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 Bol.
Hari, Hari, Bol.
Hari, Hari, Bol.
Gauranga.
Hare
Nityananda.
Krishna.
Gauranga.
Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Gauranga.
Nityananda.
Hari
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, everybody.
Everyone for joining today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We'll meet tomorrow again with a new canto. Hari Bol. If you have any new friends who are looking for learning Srimad Bhagavatam systematically, we can advertise more now because it's a new canto. Everybody can start with the 6th canto, first chapter, first verse. So please tell your friends and families to join us. Hari Bol. Closing the call.
Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.